So before we go any further, I want to talk you through another analogy about how the mind works that I have found really helpful, not only for myself, but for many of my clients as well. And so I want to talk to you about, if you can think about like your mind is like a river. And so think of your thoughts and the general noise of the mind as the water flowing. So sometimes it's still, but sometimes it's raging, right? So now I want you to imagine that you are sitting on the bank and you're watching the water flow by. You're sitting on a patch of grass, you can see the trees on either side of the river, and create that picture in your mind. Imagine the water, imagine the flow, imagine the bank, imagine the surrounding environment. Now sometimes we have these little logs that float into our view. These are the thoughts that we become conscious of. We can pick them up out of the water, inspect them, hold on to them for as long as we like, and then we can put it back in the water and off it goes. Now, I want you to imagine a floating ball coming into view. These are like your emotions. They kind of pop up out of the water and float into our awareness, into our view. Now, emotions are exactly like a floating ball. When we try to suppress them, it's like we're pushing this ball under the water, trying to hold it down and hold it down. But what happens? It keeps coming to the surface. We grab it, we try to suppress it, we try to tell it to go away, but sometimes it just stays there on the surface. It can just get stuck and it just sits there. So how do you attain a calm mind? How do you calm the waters? Well, one thing's for sure, you can't force water to be still, can you? In fact, the more you try, the more splash you make, the more turbulent the water becomes. The only way to get the water to calm is to leave it alone, is to sit back on the bank and watch. So realize this, you are the watcher. You're not the river, you're the watcher. And at any and every moment, you can choose to sit back and witness your mind, witness the river. You can sit back and watch the logs come in and out of view, and watch the balls of emotion bob up and down and eventually be on their way again. Even if it's uncomfortable, the whole point of peace and contentment and joy is not to have no negative thoughts or emotions at all. It's not the logs and the balls disappear altogether. The point is to relax and to sit on the bank and to be conscious and to be the conscious witness of the natural flow of your mind. The more you are able to do this, the more you will find the waters are calm. It's sort of like what I spoke about in the last module in terms of if your mind is like a puppy and it's trying to pull you all over the place, the best thing you can do is just cut the leash and let it run. So if you're experiencing raging waters, and it can be extremely difficult to just sit back and watch, I totally understand. What I would suggest in these instances is journaling. So instead of sitting back and watching, channel the raging river that is your mind onto the page, because there is an infinite amount of space in journals for your raging thoughts to find their place. Once you have truly journaled everything out of your mind, then try immediately after to sit back in silence, in meditation if you like, and just be the watcher. If you do this properly, if you have the patience with yourself to journal until you are done, don't journal for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, journal until you are done, until all the raging logs and the balls have been cleared and the waters have calmed, then you will experience a sense of stillness like never before. But think of a journal like a bottomless bucket for the raging waters, or a dam. You open up the floodgates and you just let it go. You let all the raging water go, and eventually it sorts itself out. You have to be patient enough with yourself to allow that raging water to be channeled into another area, into the journal, until the point that it can level itself out again. So remember, your mind is like a river. Learn to channel the flow through journaling, then learn to watch the flow through sitting back on the bank and becoming a conscious witness. And as you progress, you will find that this practice of being aware will leave you with from your meditation spot. So remember, your mind is like a river. Learn to channel the flow through journaling, then learn to watch the flow through sitting back on the bank and becoming a conscious witness. And as you progress, you'll find that this practice of being aware will leave with you from your meditation spot and drip into your life. The conscious witness is always available to you, and I recommend you continuously develop it so you don't get sucked into what's going on outside of you. The more that you do that, the more control you will have over your mind and your behaviors, which means your life. Because everything in our lives is the cause of our thoughts and our actions. So if we can take back conscious control of those, we take control of the direction of our life.